You're listening to a podcast of Reelblack Radio with Mike D and Steph Renee. Fridays 11 a.m. till noon on 900 AM WURD and 900 AM WURD.com.
Our guest is now on the line.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, I'm super duper excited about this gentleman. You know him from Weeds, Think Like a Man.
Yeah.
He's the other brother in the movie When the Bow Breaks, but he is conspiring. He's also featured in Almost Christmas, which comes out November 11th. But the reason we have Romany Malco on the show today is to discuss Tijuana Jackson and the Indiegogo campaign, which is currently going to raise funds for him to star in this mockumentary.
Indeed, and he is part of my Caribbean Massive. Welcome.
Yes. What's going on, y'all? How are you? Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. I know it's early where you are.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely.
Yeah, man. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not early for me.
Okay.
Because I live on East Coast time anyway. You know what I mean? So, and like, you know, my girl got kids, so we up at 6.
Okay.
Well, before we get started talking about your Indiegogo campaign and everything else, I got to say that one of our staff members here at WURD is one of your biggest fans, and today is her birthday. So if you wouldn't mind doing a special birthday shout out to LaRon Anderson Bell, that would be appreciated.
All right. You know, that's so funny. I was just on Snapchat doing shout outs. So look, live from Tallahassee, I want to say to LaRon Anderson Bell, I just want to say thank you. I want to wish you with all my heart the most prosperous year. 2017 is looking big for all of us. Much knowledge, much prosperity, much love, much peace. Happy, blessed birthday. You get better with age. Trust me on that one.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much. She is listening. I didn't expect her to actually be tuned in, but she is gasping via text message right now and very much appreciates that shout out. And you know, I got to credit her for making me fully aware of Tijuana Jackson as a character and everything else, because she's spoken so highly about it and laughed uproariously at this character. And so let everybody else in our listening audience know about how you came up with this character and now, this push to make it a feature film.
Thank you. If you don't know, Tijuana Jackson is a character that I do online. He's an ex-convict turned motivational speaker. And basically what it is I grew up around the people who were heavily flawed but had the best intentions. So, you know, like the crazy uncle who's always giving you advice, but that advice don't quite sound right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Tijuana Jackson is, but the only difference is he's viewing everything through the paradigm of someone who's been institutionalized by the prison system. And the reason that this is important to me is because I myself, being someone who went to jail just for a brief period, but it instantly became clear to me as a young man that prison culture was quite integrated into the culture of black men in the United States of America. So you know the statistic of like 1 in 4, right? Mm-hmm. So what I did was, Romany Malco, I'm just kind of like the corny dude, right? So I began to portray the people that I grew up around and use them to relay messages to help undo that the way in which we become institutionalized and the way in which we internalize and the way in which we process. It's soft. Like, it's considered soft to show your emotion. It's considered soft to be introspective. But I use this character to show you that it's actually the strongest thing you can do. And so that's it. And so people go, they don't expect it because they're laughing so hard and he's so raw and so wrong. But at the end of the day, the emails that come in, the letters that come in are people saying, yo, you just opened my eyes. You just changed my life. Because of you, my father and I are talking again after 20 years of not talking. Yo, you just gave me and my family something we can sit down and watch together and then have a discussion about afterwards. You see I'm long-winded? Let me stop.
Yeah, Romany. I mean, well, we always saw you. I mean, you kind of make fun of it in your Indiegogo pitch video, like the supporting roles and all this stuff. But I'm so excited that you're empowering yourself, not asking for permission to tell this story, because I have to say, first off, the Breakfast Club appearance, you were dropping major jewels,
Thank you.
And then the video that went viral last week, where you're talking about the racism. It's got over 4 million views.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you.
What kind of jewels will be dropped in the Tijuana Jackson film?
The Tijuana Jackson film, it's like, look, so you know the Racket of Racism video, what is it, like 4 million views now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately what I did was I just basically gave you a historical timeline. I said, boom, let's start here from the Civil War and let's work our way to modern day. And let me show you how slavery turned into the convict lease system and turned into free labor prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like seamless all the way through. And people laugh through the whole video. And this is the same thing. This is showing you how the prison industrial complex, but not just the prison industrial complex, the system that America is. They did it to the Native Americans. They're doing it to us now. It's ultimately, I'm showing you a man getting out of jail, set on becoming a world-renowned life coach. And everything that the system has set up in place to disenfranchise him from his family, from being just simply a man who can earn a living, from being a citizen, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
An effective citizen. And so that's the goal here, is to like do it. Nobody's doing it like me. And what I mean by that is I'm cracking you up. At the same time, I'm going deeper than the ocean. All in one. I know it sounds all cocky and arrogant, but let's be real. When does a 19-minute video go viral, right?
Right.
There's a 19-minute video out there that's like, heading towards 5 million views because it's funny, but it's truthful at the same time. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to create division. I don't want to, I don't want people to look at my stuff and then get mad at white people or whatever. No, I think that when you get knowledge, when you are actually informed of the actual history and informed of the actual business transaction, it empowers you. And when you feel empowered, when you have real knowledge, you can actually begin to apply it in ways that are better for you and your community, your family, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's the goal. And I'm going to be showing you how the system, you get out, this guy wants to be a life coach and an entrepreneur, but his probation officer is like, no, dog, I need check stubs from you.
That's right.
This tow truck driving job, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it's also showing you all the responsibilities that he has within the community that go neglected because of the fact that he's so set on serving himself. And then, he comes back around. But anyway, I don't want to tell too much.
Right. No, but I think people are waking up. I mean, the social media is great. I mean, racists are joining up too, but a lot of people are waking up to the way the system works, how it's oppressed a lot of people, just based on class and race and religion. And I think one of the first ways to dismantle it is through laughter.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Because that's the problem, is that I personally believe that we are such a hurt people that we kind of sometimes lose touch with what it means, seriously speaking, to be able to make fun of ourselves, or what it means to actually be connected to. So in other words, part of what makes your favorite comedian special is their ability to depict their truth and make light of their truth at the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's difficult to do that when you're unresolved. When you're unresolved, it ain't funny. And so this is a conduit to getting to that place of resolution. It's like, oh, wow, he's right, but that shit is kind of messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yes.
That's my passion. It's my passion. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that it's also, one of the things that people should appreciate is that you've worked on all different sides of the industry in terms of developing yourself as a talent, exposing yourself to audiences. And so this power of crowdfunding, this power that people have to show their endorsement of you and your individual talent in this moment is significant, because we could see you wrapped up in roles in these other big screen projects that are produced by other people, written by other people. This is a vehicle for you to really let your star shine completely, and will happen on the backs of those people who are willing to invest in it.
100%. And for the record, my crowdfunding campaign was overfunded. It's now in the in-demand phase.
Yay!
You can actually, if you go to prisonlogic.com, you'll see me. I'm right there. It's Indiegogo. Go to prisonlogic.com, and you will see that the campaign, people are contributing constantly. The campaign is being supported heavily. But what you will see is that the support is 100% legitimate. You can go through the backers. You can read the comments. Ultimately, what I believe is this. I feel as though everything that I've been doing up until this point has served me to get to the point of being able to feel confident enough or deserving enough to be able to do my own project. And yes, there are a lot of people and a lot of supporters, but what people don't realize is there is also a lot of goodwill. meaning I have done many projects on the internet out of my own pocket over the last 10 years, just so that I could get a message out, just so that I could help people, just so that I could respond to people. You know, guy comes to me and says, yo, I hate my dad. I feel like, sometimes I feel like I want to kill him and blah, 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 blah. And me taking 15, 20 minutes to break down to him what the importance of forgiveness is and how going about forgiveness actually occurs. Like just being able to offer that to brother. And I've been doing that for years. So I feel like it wasn't expected. I was actually surprised, but it was a lot of those people coming back to me and being like, dude, you actually just said, one dude was like, you said happy birthday to my wife, and you made it so personal that I started to feel a kind of way. So I'm contributing to your campaign for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yes, I feel it. And I've also turned down a lot of projects because I didn't feel as though they were representing me in a way that I would be comfortable with in the long term, or I just didn't feel inspired. It's not about me always wanting to be deep in the project. I just want to be inspired, And so after doing it, I said, you know what? I'm having what's called a lateral career, and I don't care if you're an accountant, if you're an athlete, or if you're an actor. You know what it feels like to be stagnant. And I knew that in order to break past that stagnance, I was going to have to exercise courage somewhere. And this was the place that I chose to do it. And if anybody ever wants to talk about starting a crowdfunding campaign, please talk to me first, please, because the game that they sell you is not the truth.
Well, brother, I mean, we're up against a break, but I'm wondering if you could stick around for another segment.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, that means we're going to take a quick break to pay some bills. And when we come back, we will continue our conversation with Romany Malco here on today's edition of Reelblack Radio, part of the Mojo on 900 AM WURD. Stay tuned. That is a classic roller skating beat right there. And they actually did roller skating in the video for this song. That's Layla Hathaway with the tune titled Let Go. And she didn't perform. I don't think she performed this one on Wednesday night. But, we still had a very good time in the audience at the Tower.
Yeah, Romany, Stephanie Renee, she's been on an award tour this week. It's her birthday. She's been out.
My birthday was Monday.
3 concerts in a row.
Good for you.
Thank you.
But so Romany, we're talking with Romany Malco, who is we all know him from Think Like a Man, Think Like a Man 2, all that stuff, and now he's making his own starring debut in Prison Logic, the mockumentary, starring his alter ego Tijuana Jackson.
Yes.
So I have a question for Tijuana. Did you happen to see Ava DuVernay's movie, The 13th?
Absolutely. It's, okay. First thing I want to say is that it was a coincidence that I had dropped my video just a couple of weeks before the release of her video. Mm-hmm. And it's also, I'm just making it clear, it's also a coincidence that we ended up using some of the same imagery in our thing. Yeah. And I want to clarify, my video is just some stuff that I made in my living room in Puerto Rico while I was chilling, and hers is a legitimate documentary that actually needs to be seen because it is thorough, but it also provides a solution that I think it really helps drive the message home, and which is that getting back to the point of allowing people to be perceived as humans and getting ourselves back to acknowledging one another as human beings. Yeah. So, yeah, I did see it, and I did appreciate it, and I did think it was, like, crazy how we basically covered the same timelines. We used the same quotes from, like, John Ehrlichman. Mm-hmm. I went a bit in depth with the Reagan era and stuff like that, but we covered a lot of the same stuff. It was, I did see it, and I loved it. I love Ava DuVernay.
Definitely. Well, where do you get your knowledge? I mean, like, you were rattling that stuff off like it was second nature. For people that want to explore this issue further.
And I don't just read. I'm not just a guy that's like, oh, let me go scroll what they have on the internet. I actually read. I pick up books, read stories about the history of the CIA. A good book to read is, on the subject is Slavery by Another Name, written by a guy named Douglas Blackman. Mm-hmm. That book was very thorough. He used a lot of, like, old courthouse transcripts, when you're doing if you really want to know the history of the United States, not the one that they teach you in school, but the real one, you got to follow the publications and books that do, they cover, the financial transactions, the courthouse transcripts. That kind of lets you know what's really going on. There's another book, Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow. That book is thorough. I love how she breaks it down. And she goes through, the historical timeline of this actually happening to the Native Americans, to how it happened to us, to what's going on now. And then, there's a guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he has a series of books called Lies America Told You, which is just straight up, all he does is, he's a judge, and all he does is break down all the different court cases that have occurred, throughout the history of America. And, I mean, it's kind of like the best insight to some of America's true history, that kind of stuff. So anyway, I read a lot. I also grew up with a dad. My father was Trinidadian, he's Venezuelan and East Indian. And so he actually left the United States long ago, and he had this whole theory of you'll never be respected as a black man in the United States of America. So he said he wasn't wasting his time, and he went back home to Trinidad. And, all those things just kind of, being with someone who allowed me the luxury of being able to grow up in the Caribbean and grow up in the United States, it afforded me the luxury of being able to look at the United States from the outside in versus the inside out.
Yeah.
And if I want that for anyone, if that's something I would want for anyone, it's just to be able to have that perspective, because the United States is a great place to earn money, but a lot of people don't know what it's like to live in an environment where they are regarded 100% human being. Racism exists all over the world, but I will tell you that the way in which we in the United States dehumanize one another that's not as common every single where. Don't get me wrong, there are atrocities happening everywhere, but when we've gotten to a point where we can watch our fellow man get beat up or, kicked in the face and stomped by a bunch of people and film it with our cameras, so that we can get views, we detach from the human experience.
Yeah.
We no longer are empathizing like real dudes, like real human beings. And, that I've obviously gone on a different
what I think is important about what you said is, I often have very philosophical conversations when I visit the Caribbean in bars. I don't know what, it just seems to be a place where everybody's guard is down, and then you just get into these really deep conversations. And I had that conversation in a bar in Jamaica. Where a brother was saying to me, he said he was glad to see the black folks from America in Jamaica that were open to having conversation, because he thinks that the experience of living here among too much concrete separates us from the earth and from ourselves as a humanity. And I thought that was a really deep way of thinking about it. He was like, in Jamaica, because people walk around barefoot, there's a different kind of connection to the actual physical planet than there is for us in these big cities in America. And he thinks it hardens our hearts. It hardens our spirits in a way.
I firmly believe it. It's one of the reasons I live in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is about as far as I can go without being too far away from my family. I'm just like I'm one of those brothers. I'm one of those brothers who my head is peeling right now because of all the time that I spend out there diving off of my kayak in the middle of deep blue water, spearfishing. Walking around with the dogs, through the bushes and hiking on trails. It's truthfully it's a big part, at least for me, it's a big part of my existence to be outside of the grid.
Yeah.
So when I'm out there, me and my buddies go 50 miles out in this little 32-foot boat. When we're out there, we're relying on, intuition to guide us through that. We're not looking at, there aren't signs saying turn left, turn right. So it helps to kind of, I believe, like strengthen, if you refer to it as the muscle of intuition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one thing. But I also believe what also hardens your heart is, and we can't, Ava DuVernay speaks about it quite well, is there was a huge campaign there is always a history. This is a work site. The United States is a work site. The first-class citizens of the United States are big business.
Yeah.
And so what happens is this country thrives on free labor. So, like right now, you have two presidents, right? Two candidates. One candidate is saying, okay, we're done persecuting and dehumanizing blacks for the sake of building an industry. That's you're right. She's saying, okay, maybe we were wrong. We've arrested too many people, blah, blah, blah. And then the other one is saying, all right, well, Muslims are the new blacks. We're going to dehumanize their ass, and we're going to, it's like this is a country that thrives and promotes people who promote the persecution of innocent people for the sake of profit.
Yeah.
And the minute that I can get you to believe that this person or this person or this group of people are animals or are a threat to your health, your
Our
safety,
bad
your welfare.
hombres.
Exactly. Say it again?
Our bad hombres. That was from Wednesday.
From the last debate.
Exactly. Then I can get you to believe that. I can start exercising the injustices, and you're going to be empathetic to the apathetic. You're not going to be empathetic to that. You're going to be apathetic. You're not, and that's, to me, that's a big part of what's going on here is, unfortunately, so many people have bought into the narrative that, blacks are dangerous, harmful, drug-using, super predators.
Yeah.
Right? That there's an energy. I notice it when every time I come back to the mainland, I notice it. I'll be looking at my phone and walking down the street, look up, and because I've gotten within a couple yards of someone, I'm interpreted as a threat. I look up and I'm like, my instinct is to steer, energetically, my instinct is to steer around that person. I come down the aisle in the grocery store and a woman tucks her purse away and moves it to the other, tucks her little change purse away and moves her bag to the other side of her other shoulder, furthest from me, or,
Yes, ingrained in the programming, because we're repeatedly seeing those images.
Exactly.
Now, Jody's going to be mad at me if I don't ask you. Go ahead.
It hardens your heart, too. That, to me, hardens your heart. It creates this subservient. Let me tell you something, man. Black people in Puerto Rico were so unapologetically black.
Yep.
It made me realize how apologetically black I've been in my existence.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The overcompensating that I've done in my life to make you comfortable with the fact that a black man was present in the same space as you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you live anywhere near Luquillo?
Luquillo, no, I actually live I live on the west side.
Okay.
So I'm closer to Rincon.
Yeah.
I'm in Isabela.
Okay.
Yeah, and Luquillo, if I'm not mistaken, is closer to San Juan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a sister who worked there for 3 years, and I came over to visit her. But that whole unapologetically black piece in Puerto Rico that you just described, when I was in Luquillo, I was like, oh, I am home.
It's so real, man. It's so real. And, even though Puerto Rico has its, its economical issues, it's, I got to be real. It's a lot more healthier for me, for my mind, for my head, to be in an environment like that.
Yeah.
No. Well, we love what you're doing now. November 11th, Almost Christmas is coming out.
Damn right.
That's Will Packard, David E. Talbert. Can you speak? It looked like it was a lot of fun working on this thing.
It really was. I feel really lucky to have been on that job. You've got Monique, you've got Danny Glover, you've got Kimberly Elise, a young man named Jesse T. Usher, a young fool named DC Youngfly. This dude is talented, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, no doubt.
Let me explain why. Because when you're a Vine star, these online stars, a lot of them are stars because online, and it's kind of like they're expected to be big and, over the top, right? Mm-hmm. And it takes a certain amount of confidence to show up on the set and be as natural as this young man, DC Youngfly, has been. Mm-hmm. Incredibly natural and appealing. Really, really, really like that. But yeah, it's just a great movie about family and coming together for the holidays. And it has a very deep message that really resonates. Man, you laugh, you cry, you question yourself. and Monique is amazing. She really is.
No, welcome back, Monique. Now, I really appreciate you taking the time with us. I have to ask you this question, though. Now, because I always look for codes and things. So when I went to see When the Bow Breaks, like a lot of these Screen Gems movies, they're like sort of white face movies. Like they're sort of like, so when I saw you show up as the other brother in the office, I said, oh, there's something, there's some tension here. I really connected there. So as the actor, like, I know it was a very small part and you haven't seen it yet, but how do you go in and approaching that? Because it's sort of like every time Morris Chestnut is, something goes down with Morris Chestnut and it's sort of like his job is on the line. Yeah. Romney comes in the room. So, I mean, what's going on your mind when they bring you in the room, Romney?
It's funny that you asked me that because as an actor, I was trying to figure out, how do you do this? So I need to be acting, but I want to act as though I'm always fake with this brother. Like, I want you to go, oh, this dude, he don't mean nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it comes across. That's what I'm saying. There's like a little subtext in the movie that I wasn't expecting. But when I saw you pop in, I was like, okay, there's some layers
about
here.
to go down.
There's some layers here that people aren't necessarily picking up. So that validated my suspicion. So,
but think about how hard that is. You got to act fake while you act. You got to act believably fake while you're acting.
Right.
Like, people always trip, man, but these smaller jobs really, really be the most challenging. And so what I was basically doing with him was I was playing the one-up game the entire time. The entire time I was like, with or without words, right? I want this brother to believe that I got something on him that he don't know. And that was the game. So I don't know if you noticed, my eyebrows were always in certain positions when I rolled around. The eye contact was kind of like, it was empty eye contact, but it was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get around somebody and that you cool with, and all of a sudden you can't look him in the eye ever. So like, did I put something up? Did I do something? You know what I mean? I wanted that. I wanted to break him down that way, and that's basically what the character was doing. But it is a very difficult thing to do.
Definitely. Well,
I was just going to say, this has been delightful. Thank you for giving us so much of your time this morning. And LaRon heard her special birthday shout out. She's also contributed to your crowdfunding project. So,
really?
Yes, indeed. So there's lots of love going around this morning for all that you do. And please don't be a stranger. Make sure that WURD becomes part of your home when you are promoting your new projects and everything that you are up to. We would love to continue supporting you.
I am on it, all of y'all. Right now, thank you so much. I'm telling everybody, go to prisonlogic.com, and even if just to get a laugh, I got a perk on there called Kevin Hart's phone number. Right? But also I create a lot of jobs and opportunities, too. There are a lot of jobs and opportunities available on these for people who want to have a more inside experience in the industry. So there's that. There's audition opportunities, all that. Thank you for having me on your show. I will make sure to tune into WURD. I will make it part of my regime, and I'll also promote it. So let's get some social media going. Let's do some shouts. Let's help spread the word. And please, everybody, do yourselves a favor and seek peace. I'm telling you. And peace don't necessarily mean passive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Peace is in the truth. It really is. Inspiration and peace is in the truth.
Thank you so much for that good word. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we will conclude today's edition of Real Black Radio here on The Mojo on 900 AM WURD. Stay tuned.
You've been listening to a podcast of Real Black Radio with Mike D and Steph Renee. Fridays 11 a.m. till noon on 900 AM WURD. And 900 AM WURD.com. Follow us on your favorite social media like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for up-to-date information at 900 AM WURD and at Real Black.